Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This video comes shortly after the previous one about the upcoming reissues and the list for Record Store Day 2024. I would like to talk about the vinyl pickups for February. And there's quite some interesting stuff in there, some new releases, some reissues. So I wanted to keep you up to date on what is added to the vinyl collection. But actually, I would like to start not with a vinyl, but with a tape from DJ Food. Raiding the 20th Century is a mix of the history of the cut-up. That's what it says. This release was broadcast on XFM in 2004 to great success. It tells the story of the cut-up from Steinsky and Double D's lessons to Cold Cut's earliest sample-heavy records, the remix for Eric B. and Rakim, of course. Radiophonic Workshop is in there. Soulwax mixing Destiny's Child with 10cc. Whitney Houston being mashed up with Kraftwerk. It's a history of the mashup, the mix-up, the cut-up, whatever you want to call it. A great mix. It was released in Japan now recently, only in Japan, unfortunately. So I had to get this. This crashed the website when it was made available for download 20 years ago, and it still stands as a great mix from the master, that is DJ Food. So I'm very happy to have this on a physical format. New releases. I got 2 albums coming in from International Anthem, my favorite label probably of the last couple of years. Label from Chicago, releasing mainly jazz, but also experimental ambient music. And these next 2 feature in that category. The first one is In Electric Time by Jeremiah Chiu. This is it. This was first released last year on tape. I had to grab it. It's very beautiful. And then they announced it on vinyl. This is a beautiful synthesizer music. It was recorded in the Vintage Synthesizer Museum in Los Angeles in June last year. These are great little vignettes or small paintings of electronic music, and it's a very beautiful listen. I highly recommend this one if you're into vintage synthesizer sounds and ambient music. This is a great album from Jeremiah Chiu. And Jeremiah also collaborated for the next album with 2 artists, Ariel Kalma and Marta Sofia Honer, for The Closest Thing to Silence. This will be in my favorite album list of 2024. This is a beautiful ambient album with touches of jazz. I listened to it a couple of times. It's just simply beautiful, well-recorded music from 3 very talented artists. I can only recommend this. A big tip from International Anthem from Chicago. Next up is a reissue from Austin Peralta, Endless Planets. This is an album from 2011, which has now been released on vinyl for the very first time with an extra disc of live tracks. Austin Peralta was a young pianist who died a year after the release of this album at a very young age. This was released on Brainfeeder Records. Now, Brainfeeder is the label of Flying Lotus, who is, of course, the cousin of Alice Coltrane. And it's a beautiful album. It was a kind of a surprising release back in the day, because Brainfeeder was releasing and still is releasing a lot of beats and abstract hip-hop and electronica. So this was a very beautiful release back in the day, and it still stands. It's a bit experimental jazz, but very beautiful. And the reissue, or the first vinyl press, is done very well. Picture with Thundercat there. So a great album. It has these cool embossed sleeve with the little details. So a beautiful release from Brainfeeder. Austin Peralta finally released on vinyl for the very first time. Another reissue that a lot of people in the jazz vinyl community are talking about is Mal Waldron and Terumasa Hino. a release in BBE's J-Jazz series of Japanese jazz reissues. 2 tracks, 1 on each side, very spiritual, a beautiful album, highly recommended. One of the best reissues of the year so far, and there are a lot of reissues, as you may have heard in my previous video. Comes in a beautiful gatefold sleeve with liner notes. You know, there he is, or there they are, the main musicians. Beautiful album, highly recommended. Japanese, or a Japanese only release back in the time, but now thanks to BBE it's available worldwide. Next up, some more jazz. This is not a reissue, but an original I bought from Discogs after hearing the album on Stunty's live stream. This is Tony Scott's African Bird. He played 2 copies of this album a bit out of sync, you know, one record being 1 or 2 seconds after the other, which gave it a very dubby effect, which was very nice. But even without the second copy, this sounds great. I love this kind of, yeah, it's kind of in the school of John Hassel, that Fourth World music. Really great. I bought while I was listening to Stunty show, I bought this on Discogs. It's an excellent copy I bought from a German dealer. This was released on Soul Note. There you go, 1984. A great album, check it out online. Yet another reissue. I'm very happy because this has been on my want list for quite a few years. It was originally released on Blue Note, but now First Word Records from England have repressed it because the artist is now on their roster. It's Takuya Kuroda's Rising Sun. Beautiful album, jazz, trumpet player. As you can see, I saw him live in Jose James, his band, I think, back in the day. Yeah, what can I say? Beautiful photography there. Great album. Very thankful that First Word Records re-released this. Takuya Kuroda on First Word Records from the UK. Then I think we're up to all new releases now. Yep. Next one, another trumpet player, very talented, is Nick Walters. This is released on his own Dot Records label. Nick Walters is a trumpet player who worked with Tenderlonius, who is also featured on this album, and in the band Ruby Rushton. Great album, very groovy stuff. Nick Walters has released a couple of albums already. One is very electronic, one is more big band. This is very groovy jazz that I really enjoy listening to, so highly recommended, out on Dot Records. Good stuff. I went to see a show by Lorraine a couple of weeks ago. I really enjoyed it. I didn't really know what to expect because I only checked like a couple of her tracks, but a friend recommended it to me to go and see the show. And I did, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was a mix of electronic ambient soul or R&B, some heavy rock elements in there, a beautiful moment of free jazz in there with incredible musicians, great drummer, great saxophone player, and Lorraine was playing bass and all the electronics in the live show, so I really enjoyed it. And of course I had to buy the album. This is her last album, I Killed Your Dog. The album is from late 2023, and it shows how adventurous pop music can be, and how check her out live if she's in the neighborhood. Great artist. Is a new EP by New Era. Now, New Era is the project of Mark Mack from For Hero fame, and this is a special release. It's on a new label called Synthetic Memory 77, and the final production process is something quite unique. So it came in this special sleeve, you know, and as you can see, this is the back. I'm gonna show you. Got this paper inside with an explanation about the processing of the vinyl. So this is it. So when you take out the vinyl, it has this kind of crazy, beautiful 3D effect. I don't know if this is gonna show. Oh yeah, look at that. So as it turns, it also changes, you know, these great 3D images. Very beautiful piece of vinyl, and the music is great. New Era, or at least under that moniker, Mark Mack makes great funky techno in, you know, you could say the same school as Kirk DiGiorgio, so heavy influenced by Detroit and soul music and funk music. So this is a great, I had to grab this. This was a limited edition. And the other side is just plain black vinyl. But this was made with a very special production method. So yeah, very happy to add this to the collection. And I would like to finish off with two albums that, apart from the Jeremiah Chiu album, two more albums that will probably end up in my best of 2024 list. I would like to start with this one. This is Brittany Howard. The album is called What Now? Beautiful embossed sleeve there. Brittany Howard is, or was, I don't know if the band still exists, the singer of Alabama Shakes. This is her second solo album. It's more electronic, but not in a cheap way, or not in a way of trying to be more commercial or something like that. It's a very good album, very diverse. She has her own style of singing and performing and producing. I really enjoy listening to this album. Very nice, adventurous pop album for 2024. Good stuff. And an album that I enjoy even more, and one of the albums that the first time you listen to it, you think, oh, this is gonna be on my turntable for the rest of the year and the years to come because it's so good, is Phaser by Helado Negro. He's an American artist. I think his roots are in Ecuador. This is a great junction between Spanish pop, indie rock, and electronica. It is so beautiful, so joyful, so yeah, the single is I Just Want to Wake Up With You, which is so, yeah, just plain fun, and a record that I'm gonna spin a lot this year. I'm sure of it. I hope to see him live next Tuesday in Brussels in the Botanique. So Helado Negro, a big tip for 2024 if you like, yeah, just great pop music in essence. This is a great album. I really love this, Helado Negro. Already in my list of favorites for 2024. This was it, a short video. Wow, these videos are getting more tight and more to the point, probably. I hope to make more, and I'll see you soon. Bye.